Kindle is a brand name synonymous with e-readers. In fact, for many years now it's been the de facto choice, and arguably the only brand that most consumers are aware of in this space. For 2021, Amazon has upgraded its Kindle family with the new Paperwhite, but should you buy it? I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and this is our review. And while you're here, if you could tap the like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell, that would be smashing. There's more than a sense of familiarity about the new Paperwhite's design because largely it's a look that's remained relatively unchanged for years. This squat rectangular plastic frame with a black and white e-ink screen on the front and very little else to draw your attention. Buttons and ports are sparse with only one of each, a power sleep button and a USB-C port, both of which are on the bottom edge of the reader. It's not the most intuitive position to have any button, it must be said, and I've often found myself pressing it accidentally and unintentionally either waking up or locking the device. I'd much rather it was up on the side somewhere or on the top, anywhere but on the bottom edge. If you've seen our comparison video, you'll know that despite the general similarity to its predecessor and the standard Kindle, there are differences. First of all, it's bigger than both of them. It's both wider and taller, and noticeably so. Where I'd comfortably grip either of the other two one-handed, this new one is a bit of a stretch, and so the most comfortable way to hold it is just to let it rest in your palm, keeping it in place with your thumb. For those who like to turn pages one-handed, it's a bit of a challenge to reach, especially if you're left-handed. Being a Paperwhite means a slightly higher level of fit and finish compared to the standard Kindle too. The rear is coated in a soft-touch material, and that's lovely, although currently only in black. Plus, the front surface is completely flush, so there's no raised frame or bezel for bits of fluff and dust to get stuck in. What's more, it's water resistant, so it can survive being dropped in the bathtub or in a pool, so don't be scared to take it with you when you go for a relaxing, bubbly soak in the bath, or even to read outside. The key thing about the Kindle, any of them really, is that it gives you access to millions of books, but in a device that's smaller than an actual book. It's easier to hold and easier to carry around, and that's still true of the new Paperwhite, despite its slightly larger and heavier frame. It's still much smaller than an iPad or tablet, and it still weighs about the same as a regular smartphone, so it hasn't lost its edge. So let's talk display first, and as Paperwhites go, it's got the largest screen-to-body ratio so far. Amazon didn't just make the screen bigger and keep the old chunky bezels, it reduced those bezels and increased the screen size, giving us an extra 0.8 inches. Taking it to 6.8 inches diagonally. This makes a considerable difference to the experience of reading, giving roughly an extra paragraph of text to a single page. And that means having to turn pages less frequently, or more literally, there's a little less tapping and swiping on the touchscreen. It's still the classic transflective e-ink display, which means if you're in a room with good light or outside, it doesn't need any backlighting or front lighting to make it clearly legible. It reflects the light from around you, making it really clear in bright conditions. At 300 pixels per inch, even fine text looks sharp, like the printed word on paper, at least when it's at a comfortable distance from your face. Of course, being a modern Kindle, it is front lit. You can save battery by switching that front lighting off manually, but it would be great if it had an auto brightness feature that did this for you, because it can be hard to tell if the front light is on when there's bright light around you. Like the fancy, expensive Kindle Oasis, its front lighting array of 17 LEDs enables a warmth feature. You can adjust the color temperature to make it as cool and blue or warm and orange as you like, and the degrees in which you can adjust it are quite fine, so it's not just a case of having a few color temperature choices. It's fine-tunable, as is the brightness with its 25 levels of light. What's more, you can schedule the warmth to activate at specific times of the day, so can have it come on automatically at bedtime if you want to. If having an orange, warm, front-lit screen isn't enough for you and you want to cut out as much light for when you're reading at night, for fear of disturbing a significant other perhaps, you can enable dark mode. This inverts the dark and light elements of the screen. The text then becomes white and the background black. With less light coming off the screen, there's less glare and less chance that you might wake up your significant other sharing your space. The one thing we did notice with the latest Paperwhite is that it seems a bit more responsive than previous models or the standard Kindle. It's still an e-ink display, so don't go expecting LCD or OLED levels of refresh rates. Still, the gap between tapping the screen or swiping seems to result in a quicker response from the content. It's not instant, not even close, but it's far better than it was before. It's fast enough that when you turn a page, it happens swiftly. There are other times it still suffers from that e-ink lag, like when loading the drop-down quick settings layer or when scrolling through the Amazon bookstore. Similarly, closing a specific book page to go home is delivered with a little delay as well. Speedy it is not. The battery life has been improved though and can now go up to 10 weeks on a full charge, so it needs charging relatively infrequently, and when it does, you now have a Type-C port so you can charge it with the same cable you're probably using for your smartphone, earbuds or tablet. As for actual reading time, after about 3 hours of reading, the battery had dropped to about 75% in our time with it, suggesting a solid 12 hours of constant page turning and reading time should be achievable. With its excellent standby life, however, you can virtually leave it for a day and it won't drop a single percentage point. Kindle's biggest strength, as it has been for years now, is that Amazon's book library is gigantic. Practically any book available as a hardback or paperback is also available in Kindle form, and you can buy them on Amazon, the same place that you already shop so often. What's more, if you have a Prime subscription, you get access to read some books for free, and if you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, you get free access to a vast library of other titles. However, if you want some of the bestsellers or popular titles, you still need to pay individually for each book. The user interface on the Kindle isn't the most intuitive thing in the world, but there's not much in the way of layers, so it's fairly easy to get to grips with. And thanks to recent software updates, it is at least better than it used to be. The home screen has 2 tabs, one for the standard home screen and the other for access to your library, and in between them a picture of the book that you're reading. Tap it and it'll open the book right where you left off. Once you start reading, you have a plethora of options available to you, so you can change the font size, the style and spacing to make it as comfortable to read as you need. And one of those available fonts is the Open Dyslexia font, designed to help make it easy for those with dyslexia to read. And you can adjust the weight of the font to make it thicker if you want to. Even elements like the margin size or page orientation and the text alignment can be altered. Other features include popular highlights, where you see a dotted line under sentences that other readers have highlighted, or you can highlight them yourself or make notes. Press and hold a word and you'll get a dictionary definition, or if you want, enable the word-wise feature that automatically highlights tricky words that you can then add to your vocabulary or even translate. What's more, if you're in a pinch and have no other device on you and need to find something online quickly, there's even a built-in experimental web browser. It's when you activate these extra layers where the slow processing compared to modern tablets and smartphones shows its face, however. It's here that the Kindle still needs a tiny bit more oomph to make it feel a little less sluggish. In the end, the new Paperwhite is, on the whole, a great upgrade on the previous model, and the bog standard Kindle. It's got a lovely sharp e-ink display that's great for reading in any light conditions. While the new screen with the warmth feature is undoubtedly the star of the show, the USB-C deserves a mention too, because it makes it that bit more convenient when it comes to topping up the battery. We'd love it to have buttons, like the Oasis, to make page turning a bit easier at times, and it'd be great if it was faster to load the extra software layers too, but as it stands, it's still a superb e-reader that's super portable and gives you access to an almost unlimited library of books. I've been Cam, I'm at Cam Bunton on social media. If you want to get in touch with me, you can do. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, it helps us a great deal. Tap subscribe and the notification bell, and then you don't miss any more of our uploads. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.